So I need to convert this garage. This is a new 794T for twin beds. It's got a through garage underneath, and it's much better than the 792F garage, which is basically the space under the bed. And it's like a post box, the door to get stuff in. I could only just about get this foldable mobility scooter for the wife into it, but I've got a bad old back, and this was easier basically in the long run. However, it doesn't make the best use of the space. As you can see, it's basically one long square tube, everything shoved in both sides, and I want to make better use of the space basically. So I'm going to put a shelf in about halfway up. So this is that process. Okay, so you can see I've removed everything, and that's the foam matting from Halfords. So everything's out. That's the bottom of the bed at the top. That's the wall on the inside. This is the outside wall. You can see the bike rack lugs on the top. This is the 10 centimeter of wood I've used. I've used 2 screws out of the pole hanger for the awning. That way I know they're not too long and they won't go through the van on the other side and ruin it. So I'm going to stick them on. So that's part of the pole hanger. There's the other end, you can see it. So those are the 2 screws I've used as a temporary measure. And these are the offcuts on the left that I've used to the same height as the panel on the right hand side. Just as a start, one of the girls decides she's going to be noisy. Let's dub this then. Okay, so we're dubbing now. So basically, as you can see, what I'll show you later on is the measurements, etc. But you basically get this hardwood plywood 9mm thick from B&Q, and tell them what sizes to cut it to. Those are the 3 legs I'm going to use on the bed side of the garage. I was going to screw them to the wall, but actually I've realised with the foam matting, those screws would be load bearing, and that's not what I want. Not that I'm putting anything very heavy on the top shelf. So these are the screws, 25mm by 4, and some EvoStick sticks like turbo. The turbo does 15 minutes apparently, and it's ready to go. But I don't want to rely on the 15 minutes, but it's better than the other one. This is the 25 by 25, and this is the cuts that I'm going to use to support the top shelf basically. So this is just to show you. I've pre-drilled the holes because otherwise this wood will split, as will this. I've tried, so this will split. So pre-drill your pilot holes to fit in. These are the legs that are going to go on the side of the motorhome, not at the rear, but the front end of the garage towards the front seats. So basically I will also pre-drill holes, getting sticky, pre-drill holes in the top to make sure they're ready for the bigger board. Okay, and I'm going to have to do all the same here because this big long board is going to be glued on the side of the van. So that's going to take a bit of planning, because I'm going to put the 1 inch, it's going to have to be pre-drilled all the way down one side, then glued on with the sticks like stuff. Then it's going to have to, the whole panel then will be glued onto the back of the motorhome, like the outside wall basically, obviously inside the garage, but the very back of the van. And I'll use the 2 pilot holes that I did earlier on just to hold it in place, and then leave that to cure overnight. It says 15 minutes, but you know, I don't see how it can do any harm to do more. And then the very last bit will be the actual putting in the top board and then screwing that down in a couple of places basically. Probably only needs to be 5 or 6 places each corner, and then in the middle to bear the load. So, and here you can see where I've pre-drilled and screwed in the 1 inch to the side piece, and now I've just pre-drilled all the holes to go in the top end. And then back out in the garage, that's the side piece again, and it's jacked in basically now, pressured between the rear wall of the van itself there to the front wall, which is underneath the bed. I only had one spreader, so I had to improvise. So remember, it can only go in diagonally, so 800mm is as wide as you're going to get. You can put it in this way as well, so that the upper side is above your first fixings, because then I'll raise the shelf up on that, and as you can see now, put the legs underneath. So the legs now will hold that side of the base up, and it needs to be tight to the wall, but I haven't screwed these to the wall. So it's just a case of lining them up, drilling from the top. There's just enough room to do that on all three legs, and screw them in. And then that's lined up, get everything screwed down. It's ready to go. And there we go. So everything, the three legs are now screwed to the shelf. And on the other side, on the right hand side, you'll see that's now load bearing, that's stuck on the back wall. I can basically remove the screws now, and the screws were from there, part of the pole hanger, so you can see there's still one there, and basically just move them up onto the piece of wood and that'll hold that. And here we are, fully loaded again pretty much. There's still some space, but I can get the basket and most of the scooter in, and you can see the space at the back. There's the ramps as well, there's still a bit of space in between. There's a washing tub and stuff for when we go to Europe. Top of the shelf, this is the heaviest thing, the rear wheels of her scooter. Then round the other side again, I've got my barbecue, Weber Traveller. You can see the washing machine again back there, the tub. Squeezed in the silver screens here, and you can just see a shopping basket and stuff at the back. Then I've got my scooter and the tub for the toilet, and there's still space to be used, so I'm happy.